We've been improving a lot since that loss at Shanghai. I think it was a good wake-up call.
Last time it was to make Shanghai, beating Lev/Corbin, Com. Going against him again is going to be super fun.
But it's a 1-for-1. Cobb is now alone. There's that first and second on the paint. Clock is still ticking on that spike, and he's got the Hunter's Fury. He's just going to run back and play to his favor. Bazine now tapping on the spike. There's that Hunter's Fury, and there's that kill from Com.
Wow. 100T are like very thrive in the chaos sort of team. They also do a lot of things like consistently well.
Going back to focus on the process is going to be a big priority for us, and if we can focus on the why when we were winning and not the like should we win or should we not win, which is the result, we should be able to beat Lev.
Really good for the Thieves right now, even if Asna falls, but Asna will get two before
Obviously, you have the hype man and Boosty. Love that guy.
Definitely going to be getting all in his face as much as I can before and during the game. Ruin his chances of playoffs.
And we are back for day 2 of VCT America Super Week. And our second match of the day. You got Leviatán going up against 100 Thieves. Golden Boy here alongside once again with Athena as well as Mimi and Ender to break it all down. Now, fellas, team, guys, everyone, I don't know, I'm thinking of words. I didn't think I'd have to do this so fast. I didn't expect that we'd have to start off with a player's retirement, but here we are. The player is retiring. As we have learned, Busio, unfortunately, has to retire because, you know.
I mean, he had such a great career.
He really did. Won a world championship, so, I mean, you know what? Good run.
Honestly,
we got some good B-roll from him.
He should have retired after Champions. That would have been a better note to end on.
Yeah, for sure. You hate to see it. We do have, we kind of conceptualized some future careers as well for Busio too, right? Didn't we do that? We thought about that.
What do you think he's going to be?
I think he'd make a mean plumber, personally. I think he'd
Only if he's in the full Mario getup.
Only in the full getup.
Or I guess like in theme with the green hair, we could do the full Luigi move.
Yeah, exactly.
Not all plumbers look like Mario or Luigi.
Those are the only two plumbers I know.
Okay.
Name a plumber.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Case in point.
Or no, wait, he was, never mind, I don't know.
This has gone too far. He's not retiring, but it is crazy that they lost that first game. I mean, this was the upset of the stage thus far. Absolutely
of the
ridiculous
season, for sure, I would say.
For 100 Thieves to fall to Furia here. I don't think anyone could have seen it coming, but the post-event slump, I think, is kind of real. It's really tough to come back from these events where you're away for so long, you're on a different time zone, and then you're coming back and you're playing against teams who you don't know what to expect, who have had a lot of time to scrim, and this happens.
Yeah, and I think the unfortunate thing is that it happened in a way that we all kind of felt like was, I don't want to say predictable, but we kind of saw it coming, especially with the way that the events are. They last for so long. You're in another country. You don't have to prep work.
It's against Furia, a team who had been struggling massively.
Yeah, we did not see that coming.
That's true.
I will say, in their defense, it was like triple overtime games. Like, it was by the narrowest margins that they lost, but still, that is not how that should be going. And the real problem that 100 Thieves face is, even though they have all of these championship points, by losing this game, like, standing-wise, they're tough to break into the top 6 right now.
And there's only one championship point slot, and even that is tough. Like, there is still a lot of question whether 100 Thieves can make champions, which is crazy to say after how great their performance has been most of this year.
Yeah, it feels like they had this really good momentum, and then just a little upsets along the way has kind of put them in this kind of stagnant spot where hopefully we see them kind of recuperate and come back into it a lot stronger. But yeah, standings-wise, it's not looking too hot for them.
And specifically in that match against Furia, I think what a lot of what was going wrong wasn't that they were like taking a ton of risks or making some massive mistakes. They obviously were making mistakes in the series, but I think they were doing a lot of the same things. You think of their icebox, they're doing like the same A hit with the same util cycle over and over again that we saw a lot of times at Champions. Khalil figured it out. He was punishing them on that site every time. And then game 2, they go into Haven. And personally, I didn't think they had the right read playing into that KO comp.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that 100 Thieves is normally really, really known for is their ability to react and be super proactive at times together as a team, and it felt like they didn't have that synergy, and it felt like they didn't know how to react to the way that Furia was playing, which even now when I talk about it, like it was Khalil kind of just like playing aim labs at some point, but the whole time it just felt like it wasn't the 100 Thieves that we know. And going into this next week, like, are they able to kind of make up for that?
Sure, and I think there will be. We've had Zix on the post show before and talk about sort of like how he approaches the game and how it's so details oriented, finding the small like wrinkles in their game. Because I think that's where they got exploited, especially on that Haven map, was their default open towards A lobby was so similar consistently, and then you had Khalil finding ways to call around it and abuse that, and they didn't adjust in server. I think that was a big wake up call, and this week everything they will have been working on is fixing those details. Now they have real reps playing a pretty new comp on a new map for them.
Yeah, well, let's actually go ahead and hear from the newly retired player himself, Busio, standing by with Elizabeth. What you got?
All right, Busio, simple question. What happened last match against Furia?
Yeah, I think against Furia, we just weren't really playing ourselves. You know, we were kind of being a little too aggressive, not really caring what was going on. Didn't really play together as a team.
So is that aggression what you have fixed specifically for Leviatán?
We reviewed their game, and I think an aggression is a big part of our game, and we just need to do it properly and not incorrectly like we were doing against Furia. And I think we reviewed over the Furia match. I think we'll be good for this match.
Well, then, kind of a left turn of a question. You are a very active person on social media, specifically X or Twitter. Do you think your Twitter activity affects your teammates at all?
I've never asked them, but I hope not. They know I'm trolling, so probably not.
They look disinterested, so I'm guessing not.
Yeah.
Cryo's inquisitive eyes says otherwise.
They talk about me.
That being said, though, there was something, a good takeaway, I think, from that, for sure, Athena, in that Busio talking about their aggression. Like, they like to play aggressive, but they were doing it improperly. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, exactly kind of like to touch up on Mimi's point earlier, where she was talking about the comps towards that Haven, and also, Ender, you touched upon this as well. They were fighting along every round. They were getting rolled. They could not figure out an answer to the breach and the neon stuns. They could not understand how to kind of go past it. And normally, in 100 Thieves fashion, they kind of talk about it, figure it out. But they just kept steamrolling through it and trying to kind of brute force their way into it. And it just felt so weird. Like, I feel like that's the biggest issue that they had, which is they couldn't figure it out. And then in turn, they were just kind of like losing all the map space that they could.
I also think specifically that KO comp's answer to A lobby tends to be a lot weaker than when you, like, because that knife will come out, it'll get you information, but a lot of the times, once that cooldown is gone, it's really easy for these neon breach comps to go for these quick re-clears, or even on defense, be ahead of that space. But for 100 Thieves, I think what was also failing was on their defensive side, when they're playing a lot of these flood retakes that are normally really good for them. We just saw fundamental issues. Maybe the micro comms are a little bit off. Players not quite swinging together. There was a lot of issues that went together to end up in that close loss to Furia, but that's a lot to focus on to improve this week against Lev.
But I feel like those things are usually like the small issues that you can kind of fix, like overnight. Because a lot of it was just like, hey, we shouldn't be playing like this. Hey, when we know that they're contesting A long, like, let's just fall back. Let's retake it. Let's do X, Y, Z. There's like protocols you can just put in place. So overnight, technically, those are fixable. So I'm not too worried, but also it just looked really sloppy.
We'll check in after map 1. How about that? We'll see how things play out there.
I'm about to be so wrong.
No, I'm with you. I think that most of the issues we saw are very fixable.
Yeah, I also agree with you guys, because, you know, this team, especially with the way that they have built it and everyone that is there, it really does feel like they're easy to talk to, easy to understand what the faults are, and then to try and address it. That's something that they've talked about numerous times in the past, too.
Golden Boy, I want to talk about Leviatán.
You know what?
Can we talk about Leviatán?
Hey, you know what?
We're talking so much about Thieves. I want to talk about Lev.
Go for it, man. What do you want to talk about?
Look, honestly, I think I'm like the biggest Leviatán shill, and I know you guys are all going to try and shut me down on it.
Yep.
And I know that Leviatán were playing ancient, dinosaur age compositions here with the Jet, but I am going to again shill for them and say they played Ascent and Icebox. They're on the Jet maps. It's Ospas, and I still don't think every team has to adjust compositionally, especially on these two maps. They look solid in their 2-0 win against MIBR.
And I don't disagree with that, but I still feel like the issues with this team are, first of all, I think there's a lot of the times over-reliance on individual plays. I think of that Ascent,
They've
and
got us,
quite
boss.
honestly, I think they won because of Tex. He had, that I can think of 4 rounds on their defense, and he was almost single-handedly winning rounds of insane individual
God,
performances.
it's a shame that they have such insane individual players.
But
isn't
I'm
it?
saying when you go up against teams like 100 Thieves who can match that performance, who have, in my opinion, better fundamentals.
Then us, boss?
His aim's insane.
Really?
His individual performance is
Really?
insane.
It's a
but I think
team
100
game.
Thieves have proven themselves to be a better team throughout the run of this. Sure,
With their
there's
3-3
some
record.
Insane 3-3 record. I don't care about
Okay,
the
wait,
3-3
wait.
record. I care about the run in playoffs. I care
okay.
about winning stage 1.
No. Mimi has a huge point because do you remember the Sunset game? I forget who it was against, but they had the most.
No, I don't.
They had the most insane protocols. They were so quick
Against
with their
NRG?
util-
Are you talking
against
about Lev?
NRG. I
Yeah.
think you're right.
Yeah.
Lev. They had the most insane protocols off of flashes. They knew exactly what to do. They moved and synergized as a team. I think even more so than 100 Thieves probably at their peak did. But now, when I watch Lev, I don't feel like I have that same feeling. I feel like they are relying a lot more on hero plays, which, Ender, I know it's Ospas, but you can't just have one person kill everyone every
Well, we
round,
had
all
Tex
the
just the
time.
other day. Mimi was telling me all about Tex.
Against MIBR with
Checkmate.
2 subs.
Checkmate, you lose.
Checkmate. Wait, you know what, though?
Shazam, who
so
doesn't speak Portuguese, and
Let's
they beat
keep
them.
talking about more individuals.
Let's do it.
Shall we? Like Mazzino, for example. Actually, he would have popped off. He would have been the guy to be like controller of the week, and Khalil not had an absolutely banger of a game against 100.
All right, Chris, you talked about the individuals. You love them.
Yeah.
I mean, Mazzino's out here flying. Like, what can I say?
true.
I don't know. Like, Leviatán, because they played these 2 maps that we already know them on, they didn't have to show brand new things. They just played good VALORANT, in my opinion. Yeah, maybe it's a little loose there playing against MIBR, but like, all things considered, I'm happy with this team's performance.
Okay. What did you make of their performance in Shanghai?
You know what?
Because they played an MIBR 2 subs. What did you make of their performance in Shanghai?
You just heard it. You had to see his face. That would. Just was like-
Underwhelming, to say the very least. That would be my
I think they played poorly
cliff
as a
notes.
team, and when their individuals did not show up, they lost against other teams that can play to a similar level. I think that they rely too heavily on
Okay.
those players to show up, and when it doesn't happen, they lose.
No,
This
see,
guy,
I'm checking
he's
the Google
checking.
Maps right now, and we're actually in Los Angeles, California.
Not Shanghai.
Not Shanghai. So I
Elizabeth,
don't
just
really-
take it away
That's
from
not
me.
the point.
We got
You take away
Mazzino.
Dad are fighting
Just
again.
do it.
All right, Mazzino, we're in the new meta. There are a bunch of duelist changes. What are your thoughts on the new meta, and how does that affect your play style?
I really like this new meta because it opens like a lot of possibilities, like of compositions on every map, and on my playstyle, really it adds chaos to the game, and I really like playing on the chaos. So yeah, I really like this new meta because of that.
Well, you talk about possibilities. We haven't really seen you change anything composition-wise, and why haven't you done that? And can we expect anything to change in the future?
I'm only gonna say that we only played 1 game, and it was the first week, and we didn't have much time, so you will see changes. Or
We
no.
see changes today?
Or no.
I love that. You'll either get changes or you don't.
It's Schrodinger's agent comp.
Hey, I'm excited to see what they do one way or another. But by the way, this actually is a little bit of a rematch, right? These 2 teams facing off against each other multiple times in the past
Twice
as
this
well.
year.
Twice, as a matter of fact. I think it's safe to say both teams, have a decent understanding of one another. But this is going to be an insanely competitive game. I'm looking forward to it.
I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a banger game. I feel like both teams have really good ideas.
Yeah, for sure. Now, the question on everyone's mind is, Ender, who did you predict?
Well, I mean, obviously, I've been talking so much about Leviatán that
Yeah.
That naturally you picked
that I
Leviatán.
naturally picked 100 Thieves.
What the hell, man?
So
And-
why were you just espousing?
Because 100 Thieves did better in Shanghai, right? And
And
they
where
have
are
better
we?
team play that they can
Actually, I
overwhelm
think we're in
individuals.
Los Angeles, California right now, so
I'm getting strawman. I'm gonna leave.
Just take it to the stage. Just let's bring out our teams. Unbelievable.
Riot Games Arena, let's get this game started. Give it up for 100 Thieves!
olas controlan el viento y buscan victorias. Que se escuche para el Leviatán.
It's our final match of Sunday. 100 Thieves taking on Leviatán. 100 Thieves looking to right the wrongs from week 1 of stage 2. And for Leviatán, they just want to keep on adding to the total, keep on adding in the win column and in the champions points. But can they manage to take down 100 Thieves that, well, you know they're going to want that dub today?
They absolutely do, especially after that massive upset you were talking about in week 1. But this is such an important game for 100 Thieves. 3-3 in the standings. Their chances of making it to the playoffs, of making it to Seoul, very much on the line here. Every win counts for these guys.
Indeed, it does. And I mean, of course, you know, for Leviatán, Ender, you know, you're such a wise man when it comes to all things Leviatán.
A wise shill.
A wise shill who doesn't predict him to win.
Honestly, the maps what interests me the most in terms of will we actually get maps where we'll see new comps potentially, and I don't really think so. I think Bind is a pretty solid raise map even after the nerfs. A lot of teams are playing that, and honestly, I expect Osbos to still be playing Jet on Haven.
I feel like Bind is going to be one of those maps where both teams are just trying to have that confidence boost, morale, kind of play the mental game against the other team where they're going to be super aggressive. And I don't know, I'm looking towards 100 Thieves for this one to make sure that they don't fall into the same patterns of just defaulting over and over again, and even running into the same obstacle from time to time.
On Haven, I'm really curious to see if 100 Thieves sticks to this KO idea, that comp they debuted last week. I'm wondering if that is their read or if they're going to go into something different. This is a team that I'm actually going to be pretty surprised if they make significant comp changes. You could play Asuna onto the Neon. In fact, I'd love to see it. He was great on it back on Fracture way back in the day on 100 Thieves. But something tells me that this is going to be one of those matches for both teams where we're getting a lot of older comps.
Bind is going to be fun, right? Because this is on 100 Thieves playground, and I mean that's what they.
I still think this is the best comp on the map. I don't think there's a reason to change. For all I've been chilling for Neon, I don't think she's really worth running on this.
Omen?
I'm not fully. The Omen's very cool, but in terms of optimal, I wouldn't.
Cryo's always great on Brim, so I mean I think that's fine.
I think Osbos is literally going to play Raze or Jet on every map in the pool.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just so damn good at both those agents.
Until a team makes him play something else, right? That's really what it boils down to. All right, well, this is it. Last match of Sunday, Riot Games Arena. Let's make some noise as we get ready for this matchup. And send it over to your professional yappers. It's Bryn and Sideshow.
Let's get to it then. Yeah, Lev versus 100 Thieves. An important match, honestly, in the grand scheme of things, but I've been saying that every single match we've covered in Super Week. So it's hard to really see the long-term vision with a lot of this, but in terms of the standings, we know that roughly once you get to that 6th win, it makes a tremendous difference in terms of getting to champs, potentially champs, you know, the playoffs themselves. That's the main goal for all these teams.
And even for a team like 100 Thieves who have a lot of championship points already, you want to be able to get to playoffs because you can't guarantee that even those championship points you have are going to be enough to get you to champs. So you need to be able to get into playoffs and fight for that spot and earn it yourself and not rest on the laurels of your prior wins. A 3-3 record goes up against a 5-1 record. You might expect Leviatán to be the favorites. Most people, I think, though, looking towards 100 Thieves as the team with the advantage in this, based on just having a better performance in the Stage 1 playoffs mostly.
Especially on this map. I mean, the molly missing there. Gonna get one chance at that one. Doesn't shove King off the angle, but he's gonna at least give them the respect. Working their way up. A lot of info gathered, especially with Aspas picking off Bang. That's an important one.
It's huge. It just relieves all of that pressure over towards A. Lev, if they want to, can start making the rotate.
Does he have the top sees? Is very good. Asuna's going to be ahead of most of this now as well. That util sails into the back line. Com being removed, just couldn't stand his ground against it. Asna overzealous, man, but he's got the rest of the team with him, potentially their own dismay. There's a 2v2 now kicking off. Lev versus 100 Thieves, and Lev not messing around here with the timing. They want to try and take this one fast and loose. Aspas is left alone to do the most. 2 shots to the body, all it takes. 2 left in the chamber, left to the 1v1. Him versus EU. Comes down to the wire. It's EU who delivers.
Very active there from 100 Thieves. Once they got the plant down, I mean, I thought it was a Season 8 combo. It wasn't. They still had the C's active later on, so it was a Haunt that marked him up, I believe. And this kill almost made it feel like Lev had a great advantage in the round, but they couldn't get bodies over the B quickly enough. Yeah, just marked up and feels like he's not safe. King did a great job of being able to collect 2 in elbow, but not enough. And if you think back to what stopped Leviatán from getting a better position towards those Stage 1 playoffs, where they did at times look like the best team that we had in the league. I know if people have been watching the playoffs, and also Lev's pretty poor performance at Shanghai, it can feel odd to be reminded that Leviatán at one point we were thinking were perhaps the best team in Americas. When they battled Crew towards the end of Stage 1, that's what we were setting up.
Yeah, living up to the title of Super Team, but
it hasn't felt like that recently.
No. A little bit sloppy. Tumultuous, definitely, here. For 100 Thieves, they're on their favored side of one of their favored maps, so going to be expecting them to be looking pretty dominant. The execs looking drilled for this squad, and it's an important series overall for them, obviously sitting at 3-3 overall standings. A win on the board, getting themselves up to 4. Everyone counts.
Yeah, and also some fairly tough competition. They still have to play against Furia and MIBR, but those are not free. Oh, I mean, they've already lost to Furia, sorry, but they still have that upcoming game against MIBR.
EG, Loud 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while earlier on in the year, maybe we would have thought, yeah, no problem, should be a breeze. The deeper we get, even the teams towards the bottom of the standings are looking like they can do damage, and 100 Thieves know that better than most, having just lost 0-2 to Furia.
Oh, they know exactly where Aspas is. It's not getting away with anything.
No chance. And a very clean conversion of this round 2 from 100 Thieves. Like you said, Brent, they're on the attack side of Bind, which was, they were untouchable. Definitely. Oh, even though the results may not have exactly mapped 1-to-1 at Shanghai, I do still think 100 Thieves were the best team on the world at this map. They just put a target on their back by being so damn good at it. And it's the attack side that was working phenomenally for them. Aspas instantly picking up an operator as soon as he could.
No armor.
Glass cannon on the raise, no boombot, no satchels. Purely relying on the op.
That first shot's going to be so vitally important. Usual exec that 100 Thieves like to go for over towards A. Sending Asna in. Trebuchet in him. A little bit of util as well to accompany, potentially to support. A smoke's blocked off in the face of Aspas, and again, seeing Asna already takes up that spot and space. That's just spam into the smoke potentially. Aspas revealing himself, evened out on Mazzino, trying to dominate that position and retakes control of Shower's spike. Drop down in the middle of nowhere. Entertainment somewhere towards the back. Cryos hunting and beaming them all down. Com eventually going to be back there. 2v2 is what it's going to be returned to. Doubled up now, hopping over the top, returns it with the fire. King finally answers.
King with a lot of value on the pistol round and manages to get his way up to the top of the scoreboard again by winning a really important clutch. We're seeing 100 Thieves prioritize very early on here this idea of going for a jump peek and having the second player swinging behind. Both times that we've seen someone go for it, that front player who goes for the jump is just getting eviscerated. It's a nice push from Cryo there to collect 2. And honestly, Lev bailed themselves out of a pretty bad spot there as Aspas' op got no value. Their economy's in a bit of a touch-and-go position as well, as King forced to pick up the judge, but you're not really bothered about that on Bind. Hookah, extremely difficult to get through. Aspas' position given away by that Dizzy is going to have to return into a bit of a more passive crossfire alongside Tex.
Free reign going to be giving up hope towards Showers as well. I mean, Com earlier just picked up the orb. Scot-free. Slow and steady from 100 Thieves. They don't want to rush into anything too much, but now looking like they want to explore over towards B long. Down to that minute mark.
There can be gaps in these defaults. We've seen 100 Thieves exploited a little. But once they gather up for the execs, those look very drilled. Both orbs being used over here and both running out of fuel. So an open avenue for 100 Thieves to try to exploit, but 3 players on B.
A lot of util though that Lev are going to be holding on to at least to stop them. I think Aspas has a nade in his hand, and there it is. Sails right over, lobbed it into the corner, forced them back and around and away, but Boostio will be dropped. Same with Asuna. It's a 2-piece. Alt Earn, Rocket still ready and waiting. Fires and lands. 3 in a round for Aspas himself. This guy's looking demonic. And bang, can only do so much. Tucked away into a tight corner of only 10 seconds. Running away, EU. Down to that 1v1 once more. Surely can't do it again. Forced to stick the plant. Now it's the only possible. Wing gone! Steps it forwards. Com shuts him down. 2-2. It's what the scoreline's going to be drawn to.
It's a 3K in the round there from Aspas. And one of the stats that I was looking at the most coming out of 100 Thieves' loss to Furia, one of the stats that I thought told the story of the match, was that there were 8 multi-kills of 3K plus that Furia managed to put up against 100 Thieves. 8 on both of the maps. That's almost a third of the rounds where Furia were able to get 3 or 4 kills against them from one individual.
Which is just, I mean, that's ludicrous.
That's bonkers.
Yeah.
And that speaks to 100 Thieves not quite being able to trade out those positions, not anticipating aggression on defense in some spots. Normally 100 Thieves are pretty good at being able to shut down people like that. But yeah, against Furia in that game, individuals were having inordinate impact, and they've got to stop people on Lev doing the same. It's very difficult when you're going up against people like Aspas.
Now we're going to be seeing the silly gun doing a bit of work. Holds down Hookah easily enough.
And speaking of the silly guns, Aspas with an outlaw as well that he's taking over towards market.
It's less silly. He's shrugging over there. They can't see it. He disagrees. Everybody walking themselves over towards Lev here. Nice little double stack. Wall goes down. Wants to take a face as well. That's right through the wall. How did we get a second? Definitely did. The damage just holds the trigger there. It was patience being played. Bang. He's returned with a shot to the brain. Boostio trying to take that timing straight past the smoke. Will get punished in the end, and so the options are very limited onto this half by 100 Thieves.
30 seconds left.
Bang's going to try and work things here. If we can do a little bit of damage to the economy, it would have been useful. Lev have been winning, but they haven't been in concrete, decisive wins up until the anti-eco. Leviatán are really trying to put an emphasis on pushing out of short, I've noticed. You know, they took on the pistol round the fight against Bang really early on. And then since then, they keep pushing forwards, they keep trying to fight aggressively. We've still got Guardian, Judge, Outlaw for Lev. It almost feels a bit like a bonus in terms of how their economy is functioning, and a 4-player stack on the A site as well. Heavily reading into the fact that 100 Thieves are going to go for their A exec.
I think that's smart when you look at the ults the 100 Thieves have as well. I mean, Nightfall, Orbital Strike, all adds up.
Yeah, one of the classic ways that 100 Thieves like to attack on this map is to send the Fade down through showers and then running the other 4 players going for the exec down short. And this has been exploited in the past. We've seen people tucking into pocket, and the Fade utility is not there on the short exec. Now, these should be things that 100 Thieves are aware of, because they were getting caught out on blind by teams pretty heavily anti-stratting them in Shanghai.
No punish in sight there for the jiggle again. Time is running short here down to the minute mark.
Yeah, not too bad though, and they're grouping up over towards B, which is very weak currently. It's only King, and he can't even shoot from elbow right now. He's got a Judge, so he's just waiting for the game to come to him.
We're calling for the reinforcements with the Dizzy. Orchestrates quite a lot that 100 Thieves might be leaning over into this direction. 35 seconds left, but King's not calling for reinforcements. This will be just essentially that full exec coming through over the top. Lobs the mosh. Nightfall to follow up. Clears out most of the side, so peace of mind there for 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves do enjoy going for elbow aggression in the post plant. But looks like they're not opting for it this time. King is really hoping that they do.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard retake with the guns that they've got. The knife was going to get committed, though. Nade used. One for another. Haunt over the top as well. It's going to be dealt with. And the orbital strike. That's beautiful. Just buying him a little bit of time here. Cuts him up. Puts the pause and forces it out of Lev. Now going to be using that thrash. No real danger here, but Boostio still tucked to the corner. Still, Lev are winning this one out with all of the guns. The weaponry, doesn't matter if it was subpar. They're dominating their positions. And already in onto the spike. Mizzino to defuse. Any possibilities for his EU? It doesn't look like he wants to try and go for this. But the spam's just not there, not through the wall in time. So, full stick and a retake. Success there for Lev is really surprising to me.
Don't panic.
It does feel surprising. King got a kill throughout all of that with a classic from elbow. He's just hiding in elbow the whole time with his judge. And he eventually got a kill with his sidearm. I mean, it is on a detained player. I didn't quite realize that. It makes it a bit more reasonable, doesn't it? But yeah, the whole of Leviatán, extremely patient. At the same time, though, the plant is for long and nobody is playing long. It's only Asuna that's even in that area, and he was the one that got detained in front of Garden. The final player that stays alive is in Hookah, and it's not planted for them.
Yeah.
So, you know, if the plant had been more centralized on the site, perhaps EU could have won that. There was only 2 seconds left on the clock. The post plants are not looking great here for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, I was given credit, I think, for the orbital strike as well, just putting the pause in the play, but it honestly might have been better spent just holding it in case they use the thrash, right?
I mean, potentially.
Catch the player, doing it from back halls, use it in the post plant.
The problem with hindsight analysis like that is that Cryo genuinely thought that was the timing they were going to retake.
Sure.
Right? When you're a player in that situation, you can't just be on your iPad the entire time.
No, of course.
Playing Fruit Ninja, just waiting for them to go for it. No, surely he'll use the thrash at some point, and then they run at you with guns out. So, you know, the timings are really precise in those kind of situations. I don't necessarily fault Cryo for going for it.
Sure.
But there are problems with the way that 100 Thieves are getting set up into these spots, and they're down onto another really poor buy. But I do think that they're finding the right ways of being able to get into positions. They're just failing to convert.
Again, it's going to be that cautious tail. 100 Thieves playing it out. Beginning of almost every single round, honestly. Just this slow default, seeing if they can catch any form of aggression. But they're perfectly happy to wait them out. No signs of life.
No. The only place that Leviatán has looked to try to get aggressive in the early to mid round has been short. Apart from that, they are very confident of just sitting back, holding their ground, and even in the previous, playing full retake over towards B. And that's not going to be successful too often, but they're very confident in the idea.
Here's the setup from 100 Thieves, at least. Oh. Prowler's going to be just expiring. Short of the mark. Here's the Mosh. Still an overhead alongside the Dizzy and the Showstopper. So 100 Thieves committing a lot of big tools now to try and win this one. Oh, how the hell does that wrap around? Not too sure. Comments are going down anyway. Over the strike. It's committed and does deny the plant. Won't be getting themselves into the post. So 30 seconds left. Could be critical. Nothing else to deny, though. The Molly ended up missing. Bang's going to be able to stick that one.
Could be
with the Hitman, yeah.
Could be absolutely crucial that Molly missed there from Mizzino, because otherwise the pressure on his plant would have been enormous.
And jump over the side. Aspas trying to set his team up, but it's a little bit delayed. And Boostio, he's hungry for it. The kills just chasing him down. Feeling empowered now, and King, last one left. 1v4 scenario. Does not look winnable, not with a pit in his way. Even with the disadvantage he's facing. Will be forced to save at the end of the day here. So, the committal of ults from 100 Thieves. It's going to work out. They're going to hunt down these kills. They're going to want Cryo to do it. Oh, he's found himself a rifle. He's happy. He's backing away.
They're just sending Bang forwards because he was the player with the stinger. It's about building up the economy at the moment rather than trying to focus on ults. As 100 Thieves have been pushed into the dirt a little bit to begin here on Bind. That's a great one to be able to put on the board, though. They were in a disadvantage, but again, they actually find themselves in a spot where they control the site. But this time, one piece of plant denial utility missed, so they're in a favored player advantage, and they're able to get the plant down and play opposed with the pit. I think if Mizzino had landed that Molly, the rest of Leviatán were ready to retake on the next, you know, as soon as the Molly expired, they were ready to try to send that forwards.
That next wave of things. Didn't work out, though.
Instant pit to try to deny some short control here. That's one of the main areas that 100 Thieves are going to try to go towards. Seeing Bang really favor this attacking Viper's Orb deep up B long. Trying to make it difficult for Lev to play in that area. Aspas is worried anytime that goes up that they could be trying to pop through it. So he's taking the risk of going inside the orb.
This is risky. The crosshair placement of Bang is impeccable. Couldn't get more perfect.
Yeah, look how tough that is for Aspas and Tex to play that situation. They never know whether there are players behind this Viper Orb. Very difficult to deal with. Perfectly played by 100 Thieves.
And it did, I mean, dislodging the defenders.
And still Boostio calls the very slow approach to this round, expecting some kind of play to be made. And we can see that it's happening over towards Showers here. Com just looking for that mid-round information, seeing if he can push up, find a timing. We know that Com loves a flank.
Azino is so damn committed, he has to be. It's the only way he's going to have to turn this round away. Maybe potentially there, Prowler in his face. Fully blinded up, still gets 2. The question is, has he done enough? Dizzy, locked on! King is on top 4! That's ridiculous!
The bodies lay prostrate at his feet. I can't believe he's pulled that one off. The aim just looks so snappy. What a difference it makes when King is on fire for Leviatán.
Oh, yeah.
You know the peaks that this guy can hit. He's been a monster all across his career. But sometimes, when the team's struggling, his mechanics take a bit of a dive as he's trying to figure out how to call for them. But otherwise, the movement is so impressive. Here's this horn that lights up people over towards Fountain. Shouldn't really catch under Bang, playing a very safe position. But that was a 3v5. And Leviatán won. 100 Thieves can't catch a break. This is their map. This is their home territory.
Got to be able to close out rounds like that.
Mazzino should never be getting 2 in that situation. The haunt wasn't actually very good from EU over towards the garden. But let's let bygones be bygones and focus on the here and now.
Yeah, and here and now, Lever stacking, at least with 3 players, looking to try and fight and contest this one. Slight gap into the smoke. Mazzino can play inside that one on top of the truck. Can't be playing from that position, at least Mazzino. And Tex have got their watchful eyes onto this one. Nade rebounding over the top. You're still a minute on the clock, but 100 Thieves, issue has been forced. Doubled up now into Lamps, praying that somebody will just wade into them, but doesn't look likely. There's a lot of discipline on display right now from Leviatán.
And look how good the plant denial is from Lev. They're never allowing 100 Thieves to just get it down in the first wave. Mazzino dominating Showers control now too. Very tough for 100 Thieves to turn it. They're going to need the same level of ridiculous individualism that we just saw from Lev.
I got the spike.
Like Tap sees the angle of fight to be taken. Aspas winning is out. It's an individualistic moment. Right through the smoke. Mazzino seeking them out. I'll put a finish to it. 6-3 now. It's a hefty lead that Lev have got.
And early days in this match, but what a return to glory this has been from Leviatán in terms of the level of VALORANT they're playing currently. This was the team that everyone was looking at during the middle portions and the late portions of the regular season in Stage 1, saying, hey, this could be the best team in Americas. Like, they are playing some excellent VALORANT. And then towards the playoffs, it looks sloppy, post-plant problems. At Shanghai, genuinely...
Don't talk to me about Shanghai.
Yeah, I mean, genuinely dreadful from Leviatán.
Dire stuff going on.
But they've rebounded, and they're playing really well right now.
And it is looking better. Aspas looking to punish. Bang! Just holding that one for the rest of his team, but some sort of read gave it away. At least for him to offload that ult. Even utilizing it against the weaker buy of 100 Thieves. Only going to be stopping them in their tracks, surely. 100 Thieves looking to disrespect past it, but
it's only Asuna in.
Yeah, Asuna to solo, isolated. One player to make something happen, already with a shot hit. Zeno taken out, and now just finding the timing out throughout, but that should be calmed and called. Going to be aware of the fact that he's flanking. Full attention over towards Octagon for now. Again, a lot's going to be asked once more of these 100 Thieves players. Not with the guns for the job. Still, Aspas will not be denied. Running just a mockery man in this round. It's a 4-piece for him.
You're up. Stay safe. You're going back in.
Aspas has been performing He's been there the whole time. The big wins that they got during stage 1 against Crew, against G2, those were powered by Aspas dropping nukes on their opponent. Yeah. He needs help, and today, King, Mazzino, they're delivering it. Only a single round, and I believe that was an eco that 100 Thieves found after the pistol. This is a horrendous way to start the series for 100 Thieves. Coming off the back of that upset to Furia.
It's rough. A lot of the success on Bind for 100 Thieves as well. It comes from the attack side rounds.
Yeah.
Well-drilled executes.
They've got big ultimates to work with here, though. This one is the best chance they've had ever since they expended all of those ults to win the Thrifty in round 7.
And again, not willing to rush into anything, just making sure it's slow and steady. Trying to plot the correct course, but...
And to be honest, they're finding the correct course quite a lot of the time in terms of the site that they're hitting.
Yeah.
It's just that they're not ready for Leviatan's plant denial.
One or two things just chewing them up here. Asuna, seized in place. Vulnerable 2, has to let loose of the rocket. Oh, it sailed right past. Potentially could have been a winner for him, but no, not quite. Nade off into the corner. Top tap of the rifles, King. Steady hand, steady aim still. We're playing this one side by side, running and gunning, at least with the judge in play. But Asuna finally brought down to his knees. Tex following up through the window and through the back of the site. That's going to be the plant. Boostio committing. 2v1. Tex might be able to take this timing, maybe brings it to a 1v1. But does he know he's being flanked? That's the question. The fuse coming through, round to the back. Give it away. He's revealed his position, but unaware. The call coming too late. Don't know where the molly came from. Bang. Closes it out.
That's a bonkers final situation there. Bang, he had to run all the way through spawn, so he just assumed Tex already knew that he was coming from that direction. And Tex was none the wiser.
And does the molly even kill Wingman now? I'm not even too sure.
No, I mean, it's not going to be super useful in that kind of spot.
Yeah.
You're expecting Aspas to be able to get one from that spot, I think.
Listen, they got the job done.
It did. And I think 100 Thieves, they need to be able to get to 5. They've just used their big ultimates, but one away from getting Nightfall online.
And this looks pacey. Looking like they want to try and go for this one almost immediately. At least taking that shower's control. That's disrespect. 4-1. Aspas forced to take the shot early, but a Prowler in his face is already the orbital strike. Seeking to cut up 100 Thieves! And cut them up it does! Smokes down. 1,000 cuts and death fired in this round. 100 Thieves. Only with Cryo and Asuna left standing. And again, you're going to be asking for miracles from them.
The smoke that Mazzino's dropped on site just stops 100 Thieves' utility down short from really getting much value. It's a lovely setup. And EU gets melted. They know he's the only person in showers.
One enemy remaining.
Spamming the smokes. Picking them apart, 100 Thieves. Can't withstand it, man. Every position being assailed. It's inevitable. It's going to be the 8-4 finish here. Asuna have to pull off the play of his life, I think, to make it out of that one, but no, won't be the case. Flawless is the finish. 8-4. Really good lead by Lev.
Yeah, they're looking excellent. All of their game plans are working. It feels like they've got a great read on what 100 Thieves are going to be doing. The team play is looking nice as well. I mean, look at that setup. Beautiful to catch EU, knowing he was the only person there. Detain comes through. Easy kill. Leviatán have 4 multi-kills of 3+, 100 Thieves yet to get one.
Yeah, everything going right now for Lev. Let's send it down to our desk to hear what they think about it.
Lev looking great in that first half, an 8-4 lead here, Mirna, and it seemed like everything was working out for this team. The individuals are coming online, and these late round retakes in particular were excellent.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy to watch 100 Thieves default and try to get map control and just absolutely be dumpstered. They could not get past certain points. Even when they did get those first kills, they could not capitalize. They couldn't get into sight. They couldn't get into the post-plant situation properly.
And look, people told me that 100 Thieves, their team play would win out. And look, it starts out good, but you forgot about the individuals. Look, Mazzino getting 2 kills there is disgusting. And then from on site, like these shots breaking the Dizzy 2, King is unreal. Mimi, where are we?
Los Angeles.
Where are we not?
Well, we're not in many places, I feel like.
Specifically?
well, like anywhere else.
We're not in Shanghai. Leviatán are back, baby. They're smoking 100 Thieves on their best map on Bind, up 8-4 at the half. Ospas out here doing Ospas things. We didn't even have to show you those highlights because we've got King and Mazzino doing the heavy lifting. Mimi, 100 Thieves, they're faltering against the individuals of Leviatán.
The prophecy has come true. I mean, it's insane because so many of these early rounds, it seems like 100 Thieves is doing so much right in their default, getting themselves in a winning position. And then it's just falling apart to individual performances.
Specifically in like post plants too, right? Like Leviatán had this one retake where 100 Thieves are getting people smoked off, dizzies aren't being broken. 100 Thieves were really struggling to deal with the utility Lev were using on their retakes in all seriousness.
It was like they had the right util, they had the right idea, but they just, every time they tried executing, the timing wasn't right, the crossfires weren't right, and Lev just had the upper hand with their util being used almost perfectly.
Still, 100 Thieves have always been strong on their defensive side of Bind. We'll have to see if they can rally this back as we head back into game with the guys.
Let's find out, man. I mean, Boostio, he was stanced up in the halftime. Don't know if you saw that.
He is frequently, isn't he?
Trying to emit the aura.
Yeah. It looks like 100 Thieves need some. And the devs were talking about post plans, but a lot of the time Lev were just denying the plan from even going down. It'll be interesting to see what style 100 Thieves run. They were previously doing a lot of defensive re-clears against slower paced teams. And this one, it feels like they're doing this B pistol strat that teams have run. Viper Wall is really difficult to get info on both sides of. And the spike is not committed here. No. This is just to try to pull attention.
It's all a bit of a ruse. And the Maiden switch is already pulling players for the rotation.
And if you want to talk about individuals, King opens things up again.
That's right. He might have gone for another one.
At this point, though, Boostio's got the read. You look at him rotating over towards A, and Lev might have missed the timing here.
Yeah, there was a potential window. These were players rotating away from A with a smoke dropped down in their faces. I've lost that window. Dizzy's pre-aimed. Cryo locked in and getting active now, but still... Oh, the movement! Spaz! Oh, you can't be getting away with that, son! That is dirty work. What is that, man?
EU as well, desperately swung through.
I mean, no words. No words.
It's gross. Oh, that's disgusting. I mean, the Dizzy gets so much value there. From Boostio, who's rotated over towards A, perfectly anticipating the lever coming down short. Does it matter? No, it really doesn't.
Yeah. And this just here, I mean, my goodness.
Tragic. The 100 Thieves players flooding back in one by one to try to right the ship, hoping against hope that they can pull out levels of individualism that we've been seeing from Leviatán, and it's not the case. Barring a ridiculous thrifty here, Lever in complete control on Bind. 100 Thieves map pick. We have seen teams, when they come back from international events, have a slump afterwards. And, you know, there's been a lot of hypotheses why, you know, they don't have the time to be able to adjust, etc., etc. And Lev did get knocked out of Shanghai a bit earlier than 100 Thieves.
They did,
but
you know, they got sent back.
But honestly, it wasn't an enormous difference. Both of these teams were there. A triple setup is quite nice to punish King, but that's going to tell him that the stack is over towards B, and they're going to start pushing things into Boostio.
Boostio's got to respect this. They just spot him out. Dizzy over the top. Can be pre-fired. Regains the position of Lamps here, just trying to buy some time for the rest of his team as well. They are already in through the back as well, but he's swarming together, and he can win on the cards, potentially takes. What is that? Straight transfer and around with the ghost in hand, sidearms. Apparently, the play in that scenario, 2v2.
They're so weak.
Column single digits, Hex. One shot to the body from a Sheriff will do him in. EU, precisely the weapon on the hand. Nails it. One to the chest. One left to stand, and Wukong falling. A thrifty win. Precisely what the doctor ordered there for 100 Thieves, and it was all set up from that cheeky play out towards B long.
They needed that. A lifeline has just been thrown out to 100 Thieves as they were sinking into the mud. If they can start to right the ship and get themselves into this map, maybe they've still got a chance here. Nice. Great kills as they came back in through the smoke. They're playing together, they're hitting. And you can see what it means on Boostio's face there. Now, the danger, however, has not been averted. Aspas, he still lingers.
Yeah, the raid boss.
With a Vandal and full armor. He's torn through them so far. 14 kills across 14 rounds. With a 3K and a 4K under his belt.
Top of the board. Looking to cement the lead. Crosshair placement is almost perfect! And the micro adjustment. Absolutely sublime.
His aim is so strong.
There might be more where that came from as well. The bait and switch. You can see King making sure that he plays a star player directly into the fray. And a fight taken and one out once more. Already the front sight is going to be theirs. And now a play does need to be made. Boostio might have been considering. He's trying to swing out and wide the nade, forcing that decision out of him. And everybody falls just from that. The back-to-back thrifties on either side of things. It's answered in kind by Lev.
Beautifully set up. I mean, that is exactly how you empower your superstar player. King leaping forwards in order to distract. The nade then sent into the backside for Boostio to be flushed out. And then trading as those final players flooded through. That's another 4K on the board for Aspas. His third of the big multi-kill rounds.
Yeah.
And the 5th 3K plus for Leviatán. I mean, it is feeling a bit like the game against Furia. 100 Thieves, they just can't stop individuals from snowballing against them at the moment.
Beauty of it is in this map here, I mean, Aspas, a lot of it's coming from support from the rest of his team. He's been set up for it. He's not forced to deadlift everybody, 1v9. Holding the angle though, slight jiggle with it, sees is good. The connection, finally, they bring him down.
This is the same setup that they used to win the Thrifty in round 14.
Not sniffed out.
No, I mean, Lev ran into it both times.
Big opening, Boostio. Might be looking for that timing he has. Whoa. Weaved his way right past, and the Wiser! Comp falls. It's gonna be an upgrade. Available with the rifle picked back up. King wants to slip himself past and maybe catch a timing of one of his own, but Boostio's aware of this. He's pinging it like they could have at least worked their way in through a short. Wants to hold on to the Showers position. This is 100 Thieves looking to right the wrongs again of the previous round.
The teams with the light economy finding those advantages early on. 30 seconds left. Is there any plant denial here?
Down King is super isolated. And with his back open wide, Asuna plucks him out of the picture. Tex is low enough. One damage, one single bullet will do it essentially here. TP through finally with the punish. Mazzino though, they know his positioning. And he's the last one left in a 1v3. All they got to do is hold this one down. Trust in the teammates. Boostio with a full stick through. That's another thrifty round.
Back to back to back. 100 Thieves are just desperately holding on. They've damaged the economy again, but once more, it's going to be Aspas with a hero rifle. 100 Thieves at some point have got to dodge the danger coming towards them and shut down these individuals to stabilize. They've run this same thrifty setup with a triple stack and then the C's from the player close. It's got value both times. Lev really slipping by falling into that one. Can 100 Thieves get a bit of stability going here?
Very close to an abundance of ults, aren't they? One away from the showstopper, the orbital strike, even with Thrash sitting in the back pocket.
Haunt thrown over towards Showers. Com pulling people over towards A. EU was in spawn, just playing that rotate position. But the spike, the exec, heading over towards B. That's where Tex is. That's where Aspas is going to be if he picks up the showstopper. So they've maneuvered their way into a nice, easy site currently. Yeah. Although, as I say that, the spike's starting to head back over towards A, just as EU starts going towards B. So they are playing the rotates really well.
Right there.
Good calling here.
And the push and pull of players.
King and Com combining together.
Oh yeah!
Might not be much of a defense on the side of 100 Thieves here. Lots going to be asked for Asuna. Alongside Cryo, they might just try and delay. Yeah, he's detained. He needs some coverage at least. Somebody needs to help him out. Vulnerable, drop down, spam into every single corner. There's a volley at the feet, I think, potentially coming from Cryo. That's just to prevent them from really just trying to dive onto him.
That's Mazzino's molly,
Mazzino's?
Yeah. So I think that one probably intended to catch there onto Asuna. Didn't quite work.
Still the shots. 4 cylinders firing off here for Aspas. This guy will not relent. Nightfall going to be pushing him back and away. Cuts away to sound cue. Spam into the corner. That's going to be that entertainment still. Might be that advantage. Showstoppers on either side. Let loose of the rockets, but no casualties. At least King finally going to be going down over the top of the Horde. Might be able to play this one fast and loose. Filling up the feed entirely with the teal. 100 Thieves winning out.
First big successful retake for 100 Thieves, and the anti-eco finally coming online. 100 Thieves can stabilize a bit as we go into another really important rifle round. Showstoppers traded on either side. Look at that Horde. Look how much damage Asta was able to get done through the box. Pretty nice stuff, well coordinated. And as Ender was talking about, there was a lot of discussion. Is the team play of 100 Thieves going to win out against the individuality of Leviatán? I think looking at recent form of Lev and how they played at Shanghai, a lot of people were on the side of 100 Thieves. They're looking good. Don't worry about the loss to Furia. As our desk was pointing out with their power ranking segment yesterday, it was simply a case of the 10th best team beating the 2nd best team. Upsets, they do occur.
Crew and 8th. There's some words to be had with the power ranking. I'm not going to lie. Listen, I don't want to throw too much shade.
Everyone's got their own opinions.
They can't answer back. So listen, I'll slow it down.
But at the same time, a lot of things are in flux. And when you come back from one of those international events, it can be difficult to keep up your form. But I think for some teams, they had a fire lit underneath them. And I think for Lev, it was a bit of a wake-up call, a slap in the face to realize they are better than that. They made some changes, shifted around their coaching style. It departed saying that he wants a more aggressive version of Leviatán, a version of Lev where the players want to swing and want to take their fights and are not forced to play in a super disciplined manner to build up that confidence. I mean, when you're looking at the top of the scoreboard, Aspas, he's definitely finding his moments in this map.
Yeah, certainly. Not much moves in terms of which team's going to be favored in this round, really. Still some big ults on either side. Maybe Lev with the edge, but Bustio just jump spotting. Sees the top of Aspas's head. I think it's going to be giving him a slight indicator, potentially. I mean, Lev, you can feel the fear, I think, as well in their steps. They are very wary about these trap plays. The amount of times they've been punished on B long.
Yeah.
Making sure that they're very cautious.
And 100 Thieves have a lot of different strategies that we've seen, tactics, I should say, I suppose, where they re-clear through hookah or they re-clear over towards B long, and you do not want to get caught in one of those, especially when you've been inserted, as King has here, and you don't have too much help. Still calm, doing his classic thing, where he pulls attention away from himself.
Just trying to follow up with this. Swag bang! Oh, that's a delivery. Spike dropped down into his lap along with those 2 kills. 100 Thieves.
Launching smoke.
Gonna be happy with this one.
They read that that was a hard fake. There was no response to the Nightfall coming out over towards A. Bustio did not move. Cryo stayed glued over towards B, and Bang delivered on his off angle. I feel like both of these teams have been feeling each other out quite well on the attack side, still finding good areas to end, and that's one of the few times where the calling from the attack side team has been countered
10
pretty
seconds
perfectly.
left.
That IGL battle, haven't really highlighted it too much, but I see this devolving into that, battle of the minds who can get a better reads over one another. But 100 Thieves slowly creeping and crawling their way back up to potentially going even here with Lev. It's a really important win in that round as well. We'll see how it affects the economy. Might still be able to get a buy together.
Yeah, it looks like they will scrap a buy together. The B-long control has been a massive problem, though, for Leviatán. Think about the 2 Thrifty rounds that we saw.
Yeah.
Those were both going up B-long and getting caught by that same trap play, like you were calling it. The high-low setup and then the fade with the C's inside Garden. And they're, again, bang on an off angle, catching. How 100 Thieves were dealing with that was that they were throwing their Viper Orb over towards B-long.
Across the map with the molly. Lev, do they want to try and go off of this one? It looks like they're trying to set up something put together, orchestrated, maybe an exec. It's a little bit disjointed, though. And Aston has managed to get ahead of a lot of this now. He's going to be playing this tucked up, close position. Potential for the anti-flash. Orbital strike not going to be getting too much. Central through! What is that? Snap straight to the dome with Asplash drop down still. It's going to be ults exchange. Come, just walking his way through it. Goes down to all of it. Tex, he's going to get the plant down at least with the wingman, and he's still alive and active into the round, but it's still a 4v2. Might be able to barrel them way through it. Brute force needs to be on display. Boostio, defuse, tapped away, forcing out the util. Mosh pit, not even necessary. It's raw gunplay at work.
Lovely high-low setup as well, though. One player over towards bench. Boostio closer to the spike. Great team play there for 100 Thieves to get it across the line. Com got completely caught there over towards Showers. I mean, he was out of the ultimate, and then he walked back into it. Couldn't tell you exactly what. He must have been afraid of being peeked from the retake. Lost the awareness of what was going on. Com, obviously, it's no secret, has been struggling massively with his form. I feel like he's played a bit better since they've come back from Shanghai, but he's still not lighting the world on fire, obviously. Yeah. You just need to minimize your mistakes, I think, when you're in his kind of role.
Stat producer in my ear saying that there was a Caesar play.
Gotcha.
I think locked into place. The decision was made for him.
Well, there you go.
Potentially go down to it, so.
Leviatán.
Catch. I did miss that.
Leviatán, again, trying to take some B-long control. They don't have that same attacking orb. King is using the orb over here in the classic spot as short. Now, in my opinion, on attack side of Bind, you can't really do that very well anymore, but they're using a Brim Smoke here to stop the angle from on top of Tube being taken. So Mazzino execing one of his smokes just to take B-long control and get past the setup from Bang.
It's high-low, though, that 100 Thieves have got cooking. This could be brutal. Lev potentially walking right into the blender. Smokes are being held by Mazzino. They drop down. There's a lot of noise being made here. Reclear with the molly, yeah. Mosh pit.
Good spot from Aspas.
As well, close, cutting it up. Aspas needs to do a lot here, and he will do just that.
What a read. I mean, that's exactly predicting that 100 Thieves were going to go for that reclear strategy. You saw Aspas, as soon as the first piece of util was thrown out, he tucks himself in that corner. He knows exactly what's happening. Lev looked very prepped right from the beginning of this map to deal with what 100 Thieves are throwing at them.
Yeah.
And this is another round where Lev's economy was not looking amazing, and they've managed to come out the better end of it. Making that adjustment to take some B-long control, throwing out a smoke early on, even though it commits Mazzino to only having 2 for the exec itself. No problem if you're ending B. It looked like 100 Thieves were pulling off the comeback, but Lev take one step closer to winning here on Bind. Yeah. It's been hard fought since we've taken the swap of sides. 100 Thieves are doing a better job at it, but it may end up being too little too late.
Extremely back and forth, but finally, Lev finding a bit of a solution to that B-long take. They were missing the protocols earlier, but all came together just then.
Yeah, and the advantage of that smoke is it stops the high-low setup, so there's nobody to play contact from sight. And also it allows you to focus all of your guns on the left side, so you don't get caught by Bang's off angle either. So it actually works really nicely against both setups. Now, could 100 Thieves decide to do the reclear a little earlier, perhaps? Yeah. Before they've taken garden control, it might be a little easier.
Yeah.
But I think Leviatán have got to be credited for having a great read. Timeout call by 100 Thieves, and Zix is going to try to add his input and see if he can make this comeback a reality. It was 4 in a row for 100 Thieves just up until round 20 that we just watched.
Doing a good job of stemming the bleeding for a little bit, but like you said, there's not much room to work with if you're 100 Thieves in terms of the rounds, Lev. I mean, 2 more will do it. Be a map win to lead the series up on 100 Thieves map pick, which is Bind. You know, we're all expecting this one to be favored towards this team. They've looked really, really good all year long. Don't need to say it much more.
Yeah, it's been their home territory for sure, but I think because they were so good at it, it painted such an obvious target on their backs.
Big old target.
If you're going to anti-strat 100 Thieves on any map, it's going to be Bind, right? Because if you ban anything else, you know that that's going to be the first map in the series. So it makes your anti-stratting very simplified. And I think that's the double-edged sword when you've got a map that's just so good for you. Everybody else is going to be trying to take you down there. Whereas Haven, which Leviatán have picked, who knows what is going on there?
Yeah, definitely. Series of unknowns. We'll find out, though. We will be seeing it. Definitely missed it. Enough about that. All eyes on Bind here. Through. Molly going to be dodged and shoot. Aspas in and through. Finds a perfect corner there. Bang just trying to evade the sight lines. A little bit too much util though to overcome, just in that hard anchor position, and now it's 100 Thieves forced into this retake. Everything working against them as a pit in their face, a player disadvantage, at least with the elbow control, and maybe just everything banking onto Cryo trying to take this flank timing, but he's slow with it.
They're not watching for the hookah flank. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to help them get through the pit. Here's that second wave of the thrash that caught Bang.
Clearing it out. They do spam it down. It's nice movement, potentially dodge those bullets. The K's kicking in as well as putting that pause into the round here with a C's connection. At least Boostio does find the one, but no easy targets finally. Cryo reconnected with the rest of his team, but the crossfire setup is just immaculate. Still, the pit doesn't cover. It needs to be covered from multiple angles here with the smokes in their face, sticking it! King, has he done enough? The rest of it follows through with the bullets finally landing up to 12 for Leviatán.
What a setup there. The pit covering backside. Players over towards long, though, able to still play those spots and spam onto the spike. Come with the horn that wasn't broken, too, providing value for his team. Lev playing the post-plant situations, I think, a bit better than 100 Thieves did on the other side. And also getting the plants down almost for free. 100 Thieves not able to deny almost any of these plants that have come through.
Nice round, guys.
That was Com just getting caught towards the end. But this could potentially be our final round. A pit as Bang tries to hold them off, hoping that they can extend this map further.
That's what it comes down to, but as we were saying earlier, not a lot of breathing room. They just need one, and they brought the operator up into Aspax's hands straight through the box.
That's pretty big, and it breaks this B long setup. Or does it? The 100 Thieves players are wondering whether or not people are going to drop out of hookah. Boostio forced to disengage. They had Thrash in hand. Boostio was ready to send that on somebody B long, or possibly even through the teleporter if Asuna had taken contact. But now that entire idea falls to pieces as Boostio is forced to look towards hookah. This is how the house of cards can tumble after just one pick.
Is he broken? Fired off by the op. They know where Aspas is. Sitting nice and pretty. EU this off angle. Bang got value here before, but the trouble is, how do you do it again? Surely they're going to be ready for it, and they spot him, at least with the jiggle. EU needs help. Thrash sees round and about, but it's going to get spammed down as 3 players face him, and he's forced to evacuate. TP to get out of there. That leaves Boostio alone. The IGL to do it all. One shot found, still tucked to the floor. Dizzy in his face! Wrangles the rifle. And still maintains that composure. Maybe he's done enough. It's a 3v3, but a spike is planted and down. Full rotations now by 100 Thieves, just to stay alive in the map. Takes getting cheeky with it. It's forward, out through elbow to C's connects. King is low, at least with the decay. Prowler through as well. Asuna wraps it around and whips it around, at least with the rifle. Com forward, the bait and switch setup. And 100 Thieves, they live another day.
I get so worried when I see 100 Thieves getting back into positions with Asuna jumping around all over the place, but it is working. The spacing was quite nice there. On the second swing at least. The first one, Asuna had to finish the kill himself. But EU with good utility pressure, denying the fact that Aspas keeps getting these opening kills, and what a performance from Boostio in that spot. EU completely abandoned him. Asuna with one of those kills in mid-air on a vulnerable player, for God's sake. 2 more rounds to take us to overtime. It's a hard ask for 100 Thieves. Boostio picking up the op over towards A. But his B site is looking a little weak.
Change hands with it. It's going to be a showstopper. One to match. It goes even. An exchange of it, at least with that weaponry. Bang. He's going to be blinded up. Just cannot tuck himself up into that corner. No survival in sight now. Util's going to flood forwards. 100 Thieves, they realize it. Playing this advantage again, a lot going to be asked.
Where's the rifle for Boostio? His economy was flourishing, but he didn't feel like he could commit to buying a Phantom or Vandal for him as well, so he's on the retake with the op.
Oh yeah! Monster!
Potentially looking dire here. The Thrash used to clear it out. The shot misses. Teammates got his back. Out and through here. Nightfall has to be committed, and you have to make a go of things here. Sees only dodged by the one player. Got to try and at least get yourself into the site. King, it's being a nuisance. Time ticking away. Mazzino just holding the slightest of off angles. Baiting them in, just trying to draw them all out. Cryo, he's already doing quite a lot here, but he just cannot do it all. Map 1, all sealed up here for Lev. 100 Thieves map pick combined, going their way early on in this series.
That's a great opening from Leviatán there, finding huge individual performances Of course it's Aspas up towards the top. Looked like an absolute nightmare for 100 Thieves to deal with. And this old reliable map of Bind ends up biting 100 Thieves. Lev just looked so prepared.
Some good moments from 100 Thieves, don't get me wrong, but yeah, not enough. When Aspas is in that form, 23 and 16,
yeah, I think
stop him.
At the same time, underperformances from players that we expect more from in the 100 Thieves camp, Cryo, Bang. I need to see more from them on Haven.
Gonna be stepping away up next. GB and the analyst desk breaking it all down.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Lin. In this series, I'm going to walk you through attack on Pearl. Watch out for the stairs, clear this angle. You're going to be able to fight this.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Proud to just a picture, make